Welcome to Audrey's Inspired Life. I'm giving out unsolicited advice. The advice for today is to do something you've never done before, also known as try new things. So you never know how far you can go unless you try, and you don't know what your limits are until you push them. An example of this was this past summer we went to North Carolina and we were going to meet up with some friends, and she suggested that we go to this whitewater rafting park. And there were high ropes courses and all these other things, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely not doing that. I didn't want to chicken out and not do the whitewater rafting, even though it made me nervous. It wasn't really something that I was like, oh, I really, really want to do that. But I did it anyway, and it was probably the most fun thing I have ever done. It was such a cool experience. I'm still telling people about it to this day, and that was months ago, but I would totally recommend doing it. It was definitely something that I did completely outside of my comfort zone, something I'd never done before, and I was kind of obsessed with it. It was super cool, super fun. So thank you, Jill, for that recommendation. It was an amazing experience and something that I will have for the rest of my life. Thank you. So that is one example of something that tried something new, never done it before, had a great time. This actually shows up quite a bit if I think back on it. So we really like hiking as a family. So an example would be trying something new when it comes to hiking is hiking in the winter. If you've never gone hiking in the winter, definitely try it. It is super cool because the snow dampens a lot of the sound. It creates such an insulation that it's actually a very different experience. And the trails they're just different in the snow. You kind of have to go outside of your comfort zone when it comes to being, for one, in the cold, because you are going to get really, really cold when you're out there doing it, but you push yourself past. So it's like that whole runners thing where they get to the point where they want to, I'm not a runner, so this is just me hearing about runners talking about this. So I might screw this up. But they talk about pushing themselves to that point where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. They push past that and then they feel great and they get that runner's high. So that happens for me when we go hiking, especially in the snow, because it's kind of a miserable experience, but then you keep pushing past and then you feel really good. So that's another example of trying something new or doing something that's like completely out of your comfort zone that you've never done before. You can actually learn a lot about where your limits are. And I learned that my limits are much beyond that. I can do that. I'm capable of it. And it's actually kind of cool because you can get out there and everything is different. The experience is totally different. Nature is very different in the winter. We're lucky that we live in Wisconsin and we get to experience that. So those are just two kind of smaller examples of something that you can do. We can break it down even smaller and say, you want to try something different, sit in a different spot in the evening when you're watching TV, little things like that. Pick a different seat, sit on the floor. Just do something totally unusual for yourself and pay attention to what's happening around you. Something that I've been doing this week, my husband has done this in the past and I was like, I don't see the appeal, but got into it this week and I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. So I have been watching the Rittenhouse trial and live streamed on a YouTube page that is a lawyer. So it's Ricada Law, and he does live streams of the trial and comments on it. And for one, he's super funny, so that's a cool thing. But also it's super interesting to listen to him, and he usually has a guest lawyer on there too, talking about this stuff because it's a completely different perspective. I know nothing about law and the legal system, very, very little. So it's super cool to be able to learn from them. I never thought it would be interesting or a cool thing to do. Never done it before, totally new, but I think it's awesome and I can just have it on listening to it all day and learn things about what's going on and keep up to date with current events, things like that. So cool new experience. Try things that you have never done before. You will learn things about yourself, what your limits are, what you like and what you don't like. So a couple years ago, I tried crocheting and knitting. Turns out I suck at it and I don't really like it. There's a lot of counting that I didn't realize, so I'm probably not going to try that again. super cool learning experience because I never did it and I thought it was neat, and I'm probably not going to do it again because I'm not interested anymore. But I know that now. I know what that line is for me. Something that Chris Williamson said actually earlier today, which was great to fit with this, he said, life isn't lived from the comfort of your couch. So get out and try something different. Give yourself permission to live more freely and more wildly. Also, appreciate the novelty of life. It does bring about some childlike wonder, and as an adult, we really do need that more in our lives, having some childlike wonder. Chances are that you live a life where you're just kind of going through the motions of it. You get up and you go to work and you do the same thing every day, and you come home and then you watch TV after dinner and it's blah, 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 same thing over and over again. This will help bring some newness in your life, maybe revitalize it a little bit, and give you that sense of childlike wonder that we really lose as we become adults and step into the rat race. So, the advice for today, do something you've never done before. Can be small, can be big, can be whatever. And let me know how it goes. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know the things. Have a great day.